Imagine you are standing at your mother's funeral. You are sad, but you aren't crying. You feel a strange, hollow calm. You're thinking about how hot the sun is, or what you're going to eat for lunch. Now, look around. Everyone is watching you. They aren't looking at the coffin. They are looking at your face. They are checking for the correct amount of grief. And because you aren't performing, because you refuse to squeeze out a tear you don't feel, they decide you are a monster. This is the opening of Albert Camus' The Stranger, and it is the most terrifyingly relevant story for the year 2026. In the book, the main character, Meursault, is eventually put on trial for murder. But here's the catch. He isn't condemned because he killed a man. He is condemned because he didn't cry at his mother's funeral. The prosecutor literally tells the jury that a man who doesn't weep for his mother is a criminal at heart. Does that sound like a 1940s French novel, or does it sound like your Twitter feed? Does it sound like the cancel culture courtroom where you are judged not for your actions, but for failing to use the right hashtag, the right emoji, or the right tone of performative empathy? Today, we are diving deep into the philosophy of the absurd. We are going to explore why we have become a society of actors, why meaning is often a trap, and how to reclaim your soul in a world that demands you wear a mask every single day. Welcome to the Currency of Thought. Let's talk about the danger of being real. In the first half of the book, Meursault is a man who simply is. He enjoys the sun, he enjoys sex, he enjoys his coffee. He doesn't lie. When his girlfriend asks if he loves her, he says, probably not, but doesn't. He isn't being cruel, he's being honest. But society hates this honesty. When he kills an Arab man on a beach, in a moment of heat stroke and confusion, the legal trial becomes a moral one. The lawyers ignore the crime and focus on his character. They are terrified by his lack of scripts. Meursault refuses to play the game of remorse. He refuses to pretend he found God in his cell. The Insight Society can forgive a murderer, but it cannot forgive a man who doesn't play the social game. If you don't follow the emotional script of your culture, you are a threat to the stability of the tribe. Now, let's bring this to 2026. We live in a digital panopticon. Every moment is a performance. When a tragedy happens halfway across the world, there is an immediate standard for how you must react. If you stay silent, you are part of the problem. If you don't express your outrage in exactly the same way as everyone else, you are indifferent. This is performative empathy. It's not about actually helping. It's about signaling to the tribe that you are a good person. We have become a society where the appearance of virtue is more valuable than the virtue itself. Like the prosecutor in The Stranger, the internet doesn't care if you are actually a good neighbor or a kind friend. It cares if you cried at the digital funeral. This brings us to Camus' core philosophy, the absurd. The absurd is the conflict between two things, the human need for meaning and order. A silent, cold, indifferent universe that offers none. We want the universe to care about our grief. We want our lives to have a destiny. But Camus argues that the sun will shine just as brightly on your wedding day as it will on your execution. The universe doesn't care about your morals. Most people try to escape the absurd through what Camus calls philosophical suicide. They hide in religion, in extreme ideologies, or in the constant busyness of modern life. They invent meanings to cover up the silence of the stars. Meursault is the stranger because he accepts the silence. He realizes that the lack of meaning isn't a tragedy, it's a liberation. Why are we so anxious today? Because we are constantly trying to force meaning where it doesn't exist. We try to find meaning in our personal brand. We try to find meaning in our career ladders. We try to find meaning in the approval of strangers online. But because these things are fragile and artificial, we feel a constant sense of the void. When you force an emotion to fit a social standard, you are committing a crime against yourself. You are burying your true self under a pile of shoulds. Debt. I should feel outraged. I should feel happy because I got the promotion. I should feel guilty. Camus suggests that the moment you stop saying should and start saying is, the weight of the world drops off your shoulders. So, how do we live like Meursault without ending up in a jail cell? How do we apply absurdism to 2026? 1. Reject the script. Notice when you are saying things just because they are the correct things to say. Practice the silence. If you don't have a deep feeling about a topic, don't invent one for the sake of an algorithm. 2. Embrace the physical. Meursault lived through his senses. In a world of digital abstractions, the most absurd and authentic thing you can do is touch grass, feel the sun on your skin, and enjoy a meal without posting it. Reclaim the physical reality of your life. 3. Accept the indifference. Realize that the world doesn't care about your performance. This sounds depressing, but it is actually the ultimate freedom. If the world doesn't care, you are free to be exactly who you are. You don't have to be a hero, a victim, or a saint. 4. The myth of Sisyphus. Camus tells us to imagine Sisyphus happy. He is condemned to roll a rock up a hill forever, only for it to roll back down. His life is meaningless by social standards. But Sisyphus is the master of his rock. He keeps pushing because the struggle itself is enough to fill a man's heart. At the end of the book, before his execution, Meursault finally snaps. He screams at a chaplain who tries to save his soul. He rejects the last meaning offered to him. He says that he is happy because he has opened his heart to the benign indifference of the universe. Being the stranger doesn't mean being a psychopath. It means being a person who refuses to lie. It means being someone who realizes that life is a brief, beautiful flash of light in a dark room, and that we shouldn't waste that flash pretending to be someone we aren't. The world is a stage, but you don't have to be an actor. You can be the one person in the audience who refuses to clap for a bad play. Authenticity is the most dangerous act in a fake world because it proves the fake world is unnecessary. What do you think? Have you ever felt like you were just playing a role to avoid being judged? Have you ever felt that benign indifference of the world? Let's discuss it in the comments. If you're ready to stop being a stranger to yourself, hit subscribe. We're going deeper into the mind of other great thinkers in the next episodes. Be one of us. Stay real.